Alright, let's get into it. How did World War I start? Well, there's this famous quote that I like to use in these videos that says, "The past is never dead. It's not even past." And what that means is that the events of the past, the decisions that were made in the past, they have a ripple effect on the present. And that is certainly true for World War I, which began in the year 1914. Because in order to understand how it started, we need to go back a little bit earlier and look at some of the things that were happening in Europe during the late 1800s and early 1900s. There was a lot of tension rising in Europe because of three big things: imperialism, nationalism, and an arms race. All of those things combined created a really volatile situation in Europe. And then you add to that the fact that there were two competing alliance systems. On one side, you had the Triple Entente, which included France, Russia, and Britain. And then on the other side, you had the Triple Alliance, which included Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy. Now, those alliances were meant to be defensive, but as we'll see in a minute, they didn't stay that way. So here's where it all kind of kicks off. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, he and his wife were visiting the city of Sarajevo in Bosnia. Now, Bosnia was a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but it was also a place that had a lot of people who wanted to become independent, who wanted to create their own nation-state. And so there was a lot of tension there. Well, as the Archduke was driving through the city, a Serbian nationalist, a member of a group called the Black Hand, he leaned out of a window and fired 3 shots. 2 of them hit the Archduke and his wife, and they both died. Now, immediately, the Austrians, the Austro-Hungarians, were like, "Oh my gosh, we have to do something about this." But they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to respond. Well, as it turned out, they decided to respond in the most extreme way possible. They blamed Serbia for this assassination. They said, "Hey, this was a Serbian nationalist who did this. Serbia must be responsible." And so they declared war on Serbia, and they began to prepare for war with the help of their friends in the Triple Alliance, especially Germany. Now, remember, these alliances were meant to be defensive, but Germany and Austria-Hungary decided, you know what? We're just going to ignore that and we're going to attack Serbia. So they attacked, and the Russians immediately jumped into action because they had an alliance with Serbia. They were like, "Oh my gosh, our buddy Serbia is being attacked, we got to go help them." Meanwhile, the French were like, "Yeah, we should probably do something about this." And the British were like, "All right, yeah, let's go do a thing." And so the Germans then said, "Oh, well, now we're gonna have to declare war on Russia and France." And then when the Germans started to march into Belgium to attack France, the British were like, "Wait, hold on, you're marching through our territory. Cool." And so they joined the war. And that's how the world went from, "Oh, we need to do something about this Archduke that was assassinated," to, "Oh, now we're all at war with each other." It was a complete and total disaster. Okay, click here to keep reviewing for Unit 7. And if you want me to keep making these videos, then by all means subscribe and I shall oblige.